I welcome all of you in today's episode of our Ask the Expert series. So, even today, we are coming with a very interesting topic, demystifying dreams. So, I'm sure हम सब लोग सपने देखते हैं. I don't think there will be anyone without any dreams. So, here I'm not going to talk about dreams which we see when we are awake, but we will be talking about dreams when we are sleeping. We see so many dreams. It's like almost, like every night or afternoon, whenever you take a nap or you are sleeping, it's like a free movie show. We say, bin paishacha tamasha. So you can have so many different kinds of dreams. कभी अच्छे रहते हैं, कभी खूबसूरत सपने रहते हैं, तो कभी it's like a nightmare. Sometimes our dreams are very romantic, very loving, and you feel so good about after seeing that dream. But sometimes the dreams are absolutely, it can create a havoc in your life. Sometimes our dreams, we feel okay, there are so many things which have got jumbled up, like you will find suddenly some film stars are also coming to your home, and they are talking to your relatives. Suddenly in the next scene sequence, you will find you are transported to another country altogether. So dreams has been really, you can say everybody experiencing that dream, but at the same time our behavioral science has not yet like been answer to all these questions related to dreams. Why do we get dreams, or what are the significance of these dreams? Is there any reason behind that, or is there any signs of our future, or is there any connection with our past, maybe past life also? So there are so many questions. I'm sure you all who are like joined over here and who are also watching us on Facebook live, I'm sure we all have so many questions so about our dreams. So I thought, why not let's talk about this dream, because many a times these dreams, they impact our lives, and our lives also impact our dreams. So let's find out these connections. I'm sure it is not like we will be getting 100% all the solutions or all the answers to that, but it's always nice to understand certain things in our life which can help our life to become like more meaningful, more joyful. So today I thought, why not invite an expert who's using dreams to treat patients. So I welcome Dr. Amita Thakkar over here, and it's been a long association with her actually. As I don't know whether you people know that I have been always interested in finding the mysteries of life. Like I'm sure everybody has so many questions about their own life. Why this is like that, from where we have come, where we will go, and what will happen once we are dead. So I also had so many questions. I always had, like who I was in my past life. So I tried doing, like first level of hypnotherapy. In fact, I wanted to get into past life regression. Then I realized, chodo yaar, abhi ye zindagi ka hi pata nahi, we can't handle this life in this our life. So forget about the past life and all. But then, yeah, I actually got introduced to, very wonderful person over here. So Dr. Amita, thank you so much for accepting, our invite and joining us today. So let me just introduce her, in a quickly, because I'm sure we have so many questions to ask you, and our audience also over here will have so many questions to ask you. So, and Dr. Amita, this is a very casual, candid conversation. So feel free. It's, it's a very casual thing. So don't worry about it. It's not very serious kind of thing. And we will keep our, this open for our audience also to ask questions. Once I finish my questions, I don't give anybody, like that preference to ask questions before that. So Dr. Amita Thakkar, she is homeopath, batch flower therapist. I would like to know more about that, Dr. Amita. What is this batch flower therapy? And also she is an integrated clinical hypnotherapist. She holds diploma in transpersonal regression therapy and foreign energy dynamics. And as I was already like sharing with you that she is using dreams as part of her treatment. Like if there are certain patients, I think she asks them about their dreams. Of course we will get to know more about that in detail. So I welcome Dr. Amita, and let me start asking you first question, like about dreams. कि what is the logic behind this dream, you know, like ये सपने होते क्या है, why do we get dreams? If you can just help our audience to understand that. You're mute, you will have to unmute. Yeah. Shri, can you just unmute her?
Yeah, I've given her the access. She needs to unmute herself.
Yeah. Now. Yes.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, Aarti, and good evening, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for having me here with you and sharing whatever I can on this subject. Yes, I would like to have your question back again.
Yeah, I just asked one simple question. What are these dreams? Why do we get dreams? So it's a basic, you know, like understanding about dreams. Yeah.
When we're talking about dreams,
Yeah.
Can you all hear me well? Is it audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
So
yes,
when
yes,
we talk about dreams, we are now referring to the topic of dreams which are seen during our sleep.
Yes.
Because we are not talking about dreams that we have during the day. And so it focuses on the dreams during the night, which are like sequences of images related to some feelings, thoughts, sensations that happen involuntary on its own while we are asleep. And when we wake up, we remember them sometimes fully and sometimes vaguely. And we wonder what it is because it doesn't make any sense to us. And which is where it makes this topic of dream or dreams during the night very, very interesting because it's mysterious. How do we use these dreams? I have been using it since the time I began my practice as a homeopath. And I got introduced to understanding dreams in the context of understanding human psyche. Because in homeopathy, we are prescribing on the individual with the sickness. So we need to understand them at all levels, mind and body. So my journey with understanding the dreams of the person began with understanding dreams to know them, to know their personality. And from there on, further when I started practicing hypnotherapy, and I realized there is a great resource for every individual hidden, untapped, which is not explored simply because we don't understand it. Also because somewhere, you know, the dreams are something which are not yet explored fully simply because they happen only during sleep. And we're talking of those dreams.
Right.
So this is the basic understanding that one, they happen during sleep state and they are not happening in the body, but a certain realm of our self, which is the mind, and they happen involuntary. So this is where we are when it comes to dream.
So it is because of our thoughts or something which is giving us these dreams, or because see, sometimes we get some weird dreams which we are, you know, I don't think we have ever thought about that.
Yes, very true. That's exactly what I said. That most of the times we wake up and we say, what is this weird thing that I'm dreaming?
Yeah.
It's true. Is it going to happen? But it's very funny, very silly. This is because, Aarti, we need to understand that these dreams are occurring during the state of sleep. Now, during the state of sleep, there is a part of our mind which is active, which we are not aware of, which is active actually throughout the day. And I'm referring to the subconscious mind.
Right.
Or some people say the unconscious mind, because you're totally unconscious. So it is that time when you go to sleep, the subconscious is active. And the subconscious is that part of the mind which has been storing information of our experiences from as long as even we may not remember consciously. So when we fall off to sleep, there are certain stages that we have during the sleep. That's something called as physiologically, you know, they have done EEG studies and they have found out that, you know, there is a certain stage during sleep when you are dreaming, which is called as the REM state or the rapid eye movement. And they have found that there is some activity happening and people are known to have dreams. Now, when they have dreams is where they are in the state of the subconscious mind activity, and the subconscious mind is a very interesting part of us, which most of us have not been able to explore or tap, or we are not aware of, just because we are not aware of it. So it's when we go off to sleep and the subconscious mind is taking care of our life, our body, our vital functions. It is also taking care of all the experiences that we have been having during the waking hours for all these days and maybe for years. So which is why all of a sudden, a few, some people get, like images of, I am seeing my mother who's not anymore. Or sometimes you see yourself funnily walking on a beach. Sometimes you see yourself flying. Now, these weird images are because they are the expressions of the state of the mind in the subconscious state, because the subconscious expresses its information through images. So we have images.
Not in any serial. It just randomly happens.
It is random, but it has its own, I would say, pregnant meaning.
Okay.
Okay. So there are lots of thoughts, a lot of feelings associated with that. It's because the subconscious mind stores information in the form of an experience. So every day, like right now, we are in front of as many people, and everybody is going to have an experience of this particular moment. And everybody would store it in their own space as what they see, what they are feeling, or what they hear. And everybody is inclined to store in an individual way. Now, when they fall off to sleep, or when they go off to sleep, probably for some of them, if it is very impacting or they have been thinking about it, they may have a dream, something that, you are talking or I'm talking to them, something like that. So that's one aspect of it, which means the dreams are an expression of the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is bringing up images that you have stored. And not just stored, because we store information, our mind is very intelligent. It will store information which is impacting. So at some level, those impacting experiences are now slowly opening up, maybe like a movie. But interestingly, this is not a logical movie because it just shows up in its own form.
Yeah, sometimes our movies are like Netflix movies, all colorful, or sometimes it's like DD National, where you can see black and white movies. So, Doctor, I would like to ask you this question. I mean, our dreams are always colorful, or there are black and white dreams also?
Well, this is something that I would say it's a very big, vast subject. And I right now still exploring a lot, many people.
Okay.
It could be colorful, it could be black and white. What is important for me as a therapist is it conveys a meaning which can be relevant, which may be relevant for that person, the dreamer, to take something out of it.
Okay. So, if you can help us out with which are different kinds of dreams?
Okay. So, if I have to now tell you about different types of dreams, the dreams could be many a times physiological or psychological. When I say physiological, which means the outside stimulus is physiological, and it kind of shows up. One of the commonest thing that you may have come across, that you got up on the early morning at 6:37 and you got up hearing the doorbell ringing. Somebody is ringing it, so much that you have to get up, and you feel you are dreaming about it. And actually, when you get up, you say, "Oh, it's not a dream. My milkman has been waiting for long, and he's ringing the bell, impatient."
Right.
So the stimulus which is coming to this particular kind of a dream is coming from something actually happening in the immediate environment, and through the years, through your experience, is kind of showing up in the form of what it shows up. So it's real in a way, connecting to the outside environment. This is physiological. We generally don't interpret such dreams. But there are dreams that most of the time that most of us see are the psychological dreams, because they have a psychological content, or they have something to do with certain experiences, which partly they can correlate, partly it doesn't make sense. Partly they can feel, what is this, funny thing? I am 40 years old and I see myself as a 16-year-old writing my examination paper. Or maybe I'm 40-year-old.
Yeah, I still get, these dreams that I'm giving maths paper and I get nightmares.
So this is an information that me as a therapist would be very keen to know. What is exactly that we are looking to? So
Your voice is going little low.
How is it now?
Yeah.
So this is what we are interested in, because then most of the clients who come to me are more concerned about what is this dream telling me, or how does it influence my life, or what can I do about it? And they have a psychological content which is related to somewhere in their past experience.
Okay. So what about these lucid dreams? I mean, I have Googled. I mean, before I was talking to you, I mean, before I draft my questions, of course, like we always Google. So I came across this term lucid dreams. So if you can help us out with that.
Yes. And lucid dream is, first of all, the word lucid is, something which is easy to understand, something which is very clear. So lucid dreaming is a kind of a phenomena which is used by some therapists, mostly used by shamans, to kind of help people live out a dream-like experience, but where they have a control. If I put it in one line, it is used for actualizing something. When I said PhD, I would say we can go a little hole,
Okay.
because we are now still going to what we have experienced. When people have gone through certain experiences, and there is nobody right now that I know who don't dream.
Right.
Because to dream is physiological. To dream is to be naturally having a certain function. So when they have these dreams on a daily basis, and some of them are recurrent, is where we focus on, which means these are natural occurrence of the subconscious mind. The lucid dreaming is not natural, but is an induced dream state for therapeutic purpose used by certain therapists. If that helps you. So we are not going into inducing a state of dreaming, and I don't do it more often than that, because I have enough with my clients where I really help them to get their answers and resolutions through their dreams, which are already coming.
So you can induce dreams also.
It's a kind of a state. So if I have to tell
It's
you,
in the hypnotherapy, maybe.
kind of a hypnotic trance.
Okay.
A
Okay.
trance-like state, but with awareness. So when you are aware that you are dreaming, it's more or less, a lot of people who are extremely self-aware, they may be aware even in the dream that they are dreaming. Now, in that case, it is not an induced lucid dreaming, because these are extremely strongly self-aware people. But then there are certain group of people who are very keen to run the race and do some things, and we all want to change something very fast, is where the role of lucid dreaming has been known, and it has been practiced by some of the therapists.
So can we control our dreams?
So this is the realm that you can have a little control.
But then you need an expert, right, for that? Or can individuals like us can do on their own?
To begin with, you require somebody's facilitation, and then it can be used as a practice. I told you in the beginning that the lucid dreaming is thanks to somebody who is extremely self-aware. So if you are a very advanced meditator, it's quite possible for that person to be aware of the dreaming, or the dreams rather, and then work on it. Okay. So I would not personally like to work through controlling the dreams. So dreams are natural.
Right.
That's my personal opinion. Since we are having a very candid conversation, I would let's keep that for a while. But yeah, if there are questions, more than welcome for that.
Yeah. No, because of course there are so many questions about dreams, because many times you feel ki why I'm not getting that sound sleep, like why always dreams are there. Because as I said, like sometimes they are okay kind of dreams. We may not even remember when we get up in the morning, but some dreams, they are there, like throughout the day, they are throughout the months. There are certain, like dreams where you really get scared, and that actually plays on your mind. So is there any way to help, us where we can have a sound sleep? Because I think sleep can be also a major, problem causer.
Absolutely. So sleep is very essential. because sleep is rest. It's like a mini catharsis for the mind. And dreams become a very essential component to catharsis. What is catharsis? It's letting go. It's kind of cleaning up. So when we talk about dreams, basically the dream is like the function of the dreams rather. When I say, I want to focus on the natural occurrence of the dreams and not work on the controlling basis, it's because I would like to highlight the role of dreams in our life is like a mind detox. Every day we have vital functions of the body, which we require to happen and which happens inevitably. And if they don't happen, then you rush to the doctor, right? You're constipated and you want to know what's happening there.
Right.
So it's like you need to have clear bowels. So the same way, dreams are basically something that the mind's natural function of letting it out of day-to-day experiences, which are not relevant. So which are not relevant. Sometimes another one which is very recently, very overwhelming you. Like I gave you a simple example. If people are very overwhelmed with this topic and they may think about it, they may see that tonight. Or maybe they're thinking about, I have to meet somebody, and then mind is so preoccupied, it will show up, Or it could be about, now let me repeat it again because it gets very clear. And this is essential. I wish I can share with everybody. One, it could be like letting go of irrelevant information, which sometimes it doesn't come to your notice and you don't remember. Sometimes it is showing up certain things or certain images or memories which are relevant for you. Relevant because the mind and body, they are one unit. And come what may, how much ever we don't pay attention, our body and mind are primed in a certain way to guide us, to indicate us to what's happening in our inner world and if it requires our attention. And that's what we're looking for, when it comes to the dream work that I do, is basically those repetitive dreams that keep coming to you and that seems to be impacting you. And you may have not paid attention to it because, it becomes a passé, or because we've been taught, move on, or we've not paid attention, or we are not aware of it. So besides being a mind detox, our dreams are a wonderful indicator, signpost for something very deeper inner workings of it. And when I say mind and body are primed for us to really survive and not survive, but live well, it's primarily the function of the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind gets its place in you, in the being, when it goes off to sleep.
Okay.
Wonderful. So, is this clear?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think then we will get really scared, like what kind of dream it is. So it is the, letting go out all our whatever the day-to-day kind of information what we have stored in our mind. So, the excess information can get out in the jumbled manner. So,
can I interrupt? I want to add, because it's not just letting go, it can be also giving you an indication. But
so can you give us some examples of that? Like, are you trying to say that these are indications what can happen in a future?
No. So let me just elaborate a bit. So when we talk about this dream as a function of detox, or clearing, how clearing kake is in our mobile, or
right.
It could be about giving you a signs of something which is already there, which is not given adequate attention to you. So I'm talking about the second variety more, because we are happy when things are gone. But when these dreams, which are the second variety, that keep coming in the form of, or sometimes they don't come, but they leave a very big impact. So when we talk of dreams, when you go off to sleep, there are stages. When you go off to sleep, the early part of the sleep when you are dreaming is a processing dreams, which is just letting go of the processed information of the recent day, last 2 days, 3 days. But as you enter into a deep sleep, then the dreams that you get generally are more or less symbolic. They are more metaphorical. And these are the ones which are indicative of something that you may have long forgotten, you may have suppressed, repressed, or you are not aware. And then while you're waking up on the waking hours, just before the waking hours or around the time, are the dreams which are also called as the venting dreams. So based on what time of the sleep are you dreaming, this becomes a good resource for a dreamer to understand their inner psyche. So as you mentioned about your dream about, can you elaborate on your dream? Maybe I can guide you a little bit if you would like to do that.
Maybe we can ask our participants later about that. But I have one more question, like how long these phases remain, like when you're talking about these different stages or phases. So how long is that part? Because suppose if we say ki we sleep for 8 hours minimum. So in that, there are different time periods.
So there is an approximate estimation because this is a very subjective phenomenon.
Right. So
Right?
per individual, it may change. Yeah.
On an average, if someone is sleeping for 6 hours, the first 2 hours, when you go into these REM stage of the sleep, because you go several times, REM and non-REM. But when you go the first cycle of it, first few cycles, when you're just getting into the sleep, the dreams, that is around 2 hours or something. But I would not like to map it by hours, but we can say 1/3 of the, so let's divide your sleep cycle into 3 stages. First 1/3 is processing dreams. The middle 1/3 would be the predictive dreams, and the latter part of it would be the venting dreams.
Okay.
And based on the information that comes up, and then we ask certain more questions, is where it gets little more clearer and clearer.
Okay. So yeah, good. And since we cater to mainly school space, and you will see over here many of our teachers and principals and even parents have joined us. So if you can help us out with children, because I'm sure every parent feels many a times these children, they see nightmares, there is bedwetting, many a times they speak, they talk, they cry in dreams. I mean, in sleep, basically. So, how can we help our parents to help our children to put them to a sound sleep? Or is there any relevance with children, and their dreams?
So there is always a relevance, but primarily in children, one has to take care that children till the 8 years, approximately, are more or less already in the subconscious state. And when they are in the subconscious state, they are simply receiving all the information the way it is in their environment. So if there are parents fighting, or if there is, they have seen a cartoon movie, or they have certain things that has happened in the school, then they just simply take that information when they go off to sleep. If the child has not got an opportunity to express, may express through dreams, and which is why children are more amenable to nightmares, because their minds are very much like a sponge. They just simply absorb it, and if they don't get an outlet, they show it in their behavior. If the behavior is not really easy to, is not allowable by the environment, then they have to express some way, and that's the way of dream. So one is, yes, when children go through stress, something where they could not express, something that has been internalized by way of their emotions, is where they do come across dreams. Also, a lot of times, we are not aware as parents, as caretakers, of course, not counselors, I'm sure all of them are aware. The kind of information that's given to our children is very harmful. Right. By what we say, how we say, and they are very vulnerable. And when I say vulnerable, I actually mean by being very, very impressionable to every input, and they have their own ways of soaking it and making their own interpretation. But that happens much later or beyond 8 years. So in that case, they are always vulnerable to everything influencing them, and then anything harsh, traumatic may come up. You see a lot of these children when they've really played hard that day, and then they are talking the same in sleep, because their nervous system is developing. And when you go off to sleep, there are certain functions of the nervous system which are naturally inhibited. So most of you would have seen a dream that you're cycling or you're flying, but you don't actually fly, right?
Right.
Your body is not flying. And you also don't talk. You've been communicating with your loved one, because naturally we are equipped that during sleep, there's something called as tonic motor inhibition that does not let your motor movements be allowed, But in children, because they are growing, they are developing, the nervous system not very well developed, and especially when they are under the influence of stress, these nervous would allow these motor movements, which will be talking. This is very common, laughing, crying, which are relatively less in an adult, but they do happen in some adults. And the cause of it is, if I put it in one word, stress.
Oh, okay.
Or distress. Too much of information overload. So, because when you talk of stress, stress is too much of information overload. And when it's very painful, then it's distress.
Right.
So, I would like to one more thing is when they go off to sleep, or maybe immediately before they, most of the children nowadays are, willingly by the parents or unwillingly, they are on screen.
Right.
Including adults. So,
Yeah.
So when they are a lot of hours on screen time, especially before going to sleep, it's quite likely to have a disturbed sleep, whether it's for child or adults, more for the children. Because children have less stronger filtering mechanism compared to adults. So, well, I would like to share this, that every parent can use certain very simple technique before going to sleep for their children, and kind of guide them that when they are on the screen, and then they can get up, they can really actually make one voluntary action of getting up, maybe just switching off the screen, putting it a little away at a distance, and just saying to yourself, cancel, which is actually canceling all the unwanted thoughts and feelings of the day. It's a very simple exercise, but it works, because then they are trained to close. It's like, when you have done your work on the laptop, you would make sure to shut it off. Otherwise, it keeps functioning, and not just functioning, but draining the battery, draining everything. So that's what it does. So it will be a good habit to be inculcated in every child, even for the adult rather, because we all are hooked on to screen before we go on.
Yeah.
So just say, I cancel all the thoughts, feelings, emotions that I may have picked up from the screen and from everywhere, and take few minutes to review, reflect your day. I mean, so it's like being with yourself for a few minutes, and then it would be good to go off to sleep, which is a safer way of taking yourself into your subconscious world.
So yeah, I think it's a great takeaway for today, because before we go to bed, we have to cancel all the stress in our life and then go to bed so that we can get a sound sleep. So thank you so much for this wonderful tip. And one more question. Of course, we were talking just day before yesterday when we were discussing about this, particular session. So there are a lot of, different incidents which we see in our dreams, which may have some signs or some symbols or something, like which somebody needs to, understand that. So one of that very important thing is we see our departed, souls of our near and dear ones. So is there any kind of relevance, or is there any kind that whether they are trying to get in touch with us, or what it is, what should we understand from that?
There's always a relevance, Aarti. Yeah? So what do? Is we first understand the whole experience that the dreamer is having, and then we kind of make sense out of it. So one thing of dream interpretation, because you're now asking me a question.
Yeah, interpretation. Yes.
Yeah, you're asking me a question regarding, if somebody sees this, what does it mean? So my plain thing to tell everyone is, there is no ready-made masala here. There's no ready-made interpretation here, because unfortunately there's no 2 minute here. Yeah, you need few minutes, but not such a long time, because every dream is contextual and it's subjective. It's very individual to that dreamer. So we would refrain from coming to a conclusion about it just by listening to this much. So there is a way that a dream is interpreted. I have been, reading this subject of dream from the time that I had been a homeopath, and it has been my subject. And I don't think that I am the expert. I was like cringing when you read, you don't ask the expert, but yeah, I have a little experience.
So at least you're better than all of us now, because we are like completely lost in dreams. Your voice is gone, Dr. Amrita. Yeah, little louder. It's coming back. Yeah, now it's fine. No, we can't hear you.
Okay, how is it now?
Yeah, it's better.
Thank you. So when we talk of dreams, I would really have to remind myself of the information that I got from Sigmund Freud. And he's the legendary, he's the pioneer, because he was the one who started with this work of dream in psychotherapy. And he spoke about dream in the context of the information that you get from the unconscious mind. Though there were no clear guidelines, for me at least, I could not get much. He spoke about it, but somewhere something just could not, get very clearly as a clear, what you say, the clear, what you're asking me certain things, and if I can't give you clarity on that, then slowly reading on Carl Jung, the student of Freud. So he did his own work. Now, most of them have done a lot of research, but none of them could really come to a final, a confirmation on there's no conclusion because the symbols are very subjective. So when I started learning hypnotherapy is where I got an answer how we could really go about interpreting it, which will make sense to the dreamer. Because ultimately it is about them. It is for them to get awareness to the dreams. And what we do is we ask certain questions and then they can really get some meaning out of it. So coming back to your question on ancestors or parents coming in the dreams, I will ask them certain questions from where I may get a clue of whether what they are seeing in the dreams about parents and grandparents, is it something to do about something actually a message coming, or is it a part of them which is feeling yet the trauma, the loss,
right.
So it's more about that. That's why I keep saying it's a very subjective experience. It can be a message, but it can be for sure a message for the dreamer.
Okay. So I heard somewhere, like if somebody is thinking of you, that person comes in your dream. Is it true?
Maybe. It may be. See, it's again, you have to get that. So for understanding dreams, one has to really understand how subconscious works. And subconscious mind is a repertoire of experiences from the times immemorial for the individual's inner psyche. So even if you are very closely attached to somebody, you're linked with them emotionally. The subconscious expresses through experiences. So the role of subconscious is to connect at the energy of and emotions. So it's quite likely a kind of a telepathy may come, because in telepathy, your thought body, if you are very, like a very good antenna and you receive information, then people who are thinking very much, who are close to you, whom you are close to, you can pick up their antennae well, pick up their signals well, through your antenna. Is that getting clearer?
Right.
Simplified. So telepathy or these kind of experiences are not something something to be mysterious about. I think it's purely scientific and very simple now to understand this. And that can happen in dreams as well.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. So I think here we can show your PowerPoint presentation to understand more about our subconscious mind.
Okay.
So Shri, I would request you if you can start the PPT. Shri? Okay, so meanwhile she starts the PPT. We can, okay. It started.
Okay. So I thought of, making a small summary. Summary is always small. So summary of some things that I felt would be very significant and useful for anybody who wants to know on this subject. So can you scroll down next slide, please? Next slide. Yeah, I just introduced you to what are dreams. These are sequence of images with feelings, emotions, and sensations that come up involuntarily in the realm of mind during the sleep state. I've underlined involuntary and the mind and the sleep. So we're talking about dreams during the sleep state. Involuntary is the function of the, next slide, the subconscious mind. And dreams occur during the REM stage of sleep. And the dreams are the function of dormant. So a subconscious mind is very dormant. We are not even aware how powerful it is. If subconscious mind doesn't work for us, we are not anymore here. Because it is that part of the mind which has all the information how to process the vital functions of the mind and the body both. Next slide. So I thought I will introduce this bit. It's a very elaborate thing to talk on this, but very quickly, if you look at the first figure, it shows about the conscious mind. On the next figure, you will see the conscious mind is actually just 10 to 12% of the entire mind capacity that we have. And the subconscious mind holds like 90% of it. And it's like a memory. You know, just like we have a computer, we have processing unit, our conscious mind is a processing unit. Our subconscious mind is like a hard disk. It has all the information from the primitive mind, which is the past lives, and from this life, which is the modern memory. And this is the one, you know, the one which is in the first circle. Yes, can you just show that? The subconscious mind, this is what is open during the sleep. The one which is the brown color, the subconscious mind and the primitive area. So when you go off to sleep, the conscious mind goes off to sleep. And the subconscious mind is awake. So every information which is stored there starts showing up, and especially the one which is relevant and which is impacting. Yes, please, the next one. Can we have the, yeah. So I thought I will briefly again touch upon what, because we understand mind as mind, but you know, there are functions of the mind based on, you know, how it functions. So the conscious mind is, you know, when we talk of mind keeps thinking a lot, it's all the time mind chatter. We're talking of analytical part of the mind, which is the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is more of experiences. It's the mind like of a child, which has been simply soaking in information without interpretation. And you would be amazed that the difference between how these aspects of the mind in the individual have a different way of expression. So if I am giving you an explanation, it is in words, only then you can understand, because we are right now with our active conscious mind in the awake state. So the language is through spoken words. In the subconscious mind, you know, the language is through symbols, images, and it's metaphorical. So now, can you now get it? Why do we see dreams in the form of images, symbols, and so on and so forth? So this is because that's the expression of the subconscious mind. The conscious mind, the time, the context of the time. So right now, if I'm thinking I'm right now, whatever time it is, well, I don't know, it's 7, whatever time, 6, 7 o'clock. So time for me right now is that, but maybe there was past, yesterday, and future, but that I can only think about it and tell you about it. But when you are in the realm, when you're fully in the subconscious state, there is nothing like past, present, and future of your state of mind. Everything is happening in the now, because your past is as much happening in the now as much as your future. And there is no delineation about it. In other words, there is time distortion. So this is a little complex thing, but I hope I have made it very simplified for you to now understand. You look at all those characteristics of the subconscious mind. Why do we have dreams which are complex? Because the moment you get out of sleep, your conscious mind starts taking over and the subconscious mind is in the dormancy. So all these experiences, symbols, and images are now have to be interpreted. They have to be interpreted in the conscious mind language. It's like I'm learning Spanish, but now I have to explain Spanish in maybe Hindi language, because you know Hindi is where I can interpret it. So when you wake up, you can't make any head and tail of your dream, because the dream was operating in a different realm.
Okay.
Different software. Okay. Okay. Can we go to the next slide?
But then why not every dream we remember?
Because as I told you, some of them are just being mind detox. They are just clearing of something.
Okay, okay.
which have already happened and not required. But if there is something impacting, when I say impacting, we meet so many people in the day, right? Some of them we like, some of we don't like, but we don't remember everything and we don't take note of it. When the mind starts taking note of it, then it starts storing it in that manner. And every file has a visual experience, it's an auditory experience and a feeling experience. And that's how it is taking care of it and storing it as a file. So whenever the right time comes, it shows up through the sleep. Okay, I think we are going ahead or before. Can you just take me to the last slide where I left? Can we go a little to the previous slide or have I done that? Yeah, okay, I've done that. The next one. Can we go to the next? It's taking time. So that's where what makes a dream an important subject to understand, because it is not something that we are engaged in our waking hours. We are engaged more or less with our conscious mind. And when we go off to the sleep, we are engaged in the subconscious mind. It's like, making the Arabic guy talking to the Hindi speaking guy and both of them don't understand what they are talking. And it feels very weird. It feels very funny, silly, etc. That's why we find our dreams don't make sense. But those which make us think about it are the one which impact us. So we will go ahead and see what we can do about it.
Yeah.
These are the dreams that require interpretation. Can we have the next slide? Yeah, so I think I mentioned about it. I'll just read up. Dreams play an important role in our life through mind detox. It's like a day-to-day or a periodical clearance mechanism, indicator and feedback mechanism of deeper inner workings of our mind. And many a times, a lot of people have got their solution, insights, awareness through the dreams, either on their own or sometimes with the help of a facilitator or a therapist. Next slide. Yeah, so the demystifying dream interpretation, no ready-made, no instant dosa stuff, no instant interpretation, no fixed standard meaning to dream symbols. So a snake, which is in the dream of an Indian woman, will be different for a Western woman. The different connotations of snake for every person, right? So we don't have fixed meaning to it. No dream expert, because only the dreamer can be an expert himself or herself. Therapist is merely a facilitator, a catalyst. So we use a certain way to decode their dreams. Next slide. So dream interpretation is not at all objective. That's why I can't give ready answers, but it's subjective. It's an individual experience. Accurate dream interpretation. So for us to know that the dream is accurate, when will it be an accurate interpretation? When the individual who's the dreamer get a resonance about it when that decoding happens. So the interpretation of the content of the dream is more in the context of their situation. So as a therapist, I will ask certain set of questions. And one question will be asking them about, how and what is it relevant to them? What meaning it gives to them? What are the triggers? So these questions will then give me a wholesome understanding, or rather the client will get a wholesome experience of it and say, oh yes, now I get it. And that's the beauty of dream interpretation. Yeah, so the classification of dreams, I think Aarti asked me right in the beginning, and I said it's based on the influence of the content. If it's an outside physiological stimulus, then it is physiological dream. We don't interpret physiological dreams. The one that I shared right in the beginning, the psychological dreams are the one which has the psychological content are interpreted. And once you start interpreting, then we have to ask certain questions as to when did you get this dream? Was it early part, whether it was in the middle, when you're in a deep sleep, or when you're in the waking hours? So based on that, we then classify whether it's a processing dream or is it a predictive dream, or is a venting dream? And it has its own individual significance for us as a therapist to guide the client for their bigger purpose, for what they have come here for. Okay, so the next one. Yeah, some dreams that come true. There are visions. They are called as visions or premonitions. So some of you would have heard about, people talking about having seen the Twin Towers 9/11 in US. They would have spoken about it. Oh, I saw that. Or they might have seen the one that we had. I think I'm losing my space right now in a way. The one that we had in South India, the floods. So people can actually have premonitions about what is happening. We also get it for our individual families or people. So these are dreams, actually not dreams, but they are called as visions. They are different from dreams because in vision you actually are going with your astral body there, because when you are asleep, the bodies that you are, that is the astral and the causal body, gets kind of disintegrated, and through your mental body you have traveled it already in the future, and that's where you get visions and premonitions. So this is what we're talking about, dreams and visions. Yes. Some tips that I had for you. I thought, I know most people would want to know, what can I do,
Right.
And which is why I took some time out. And the good sleep is definitely very essential. And one of the simplest things that you could do is keep all the external distractions, stimulants away. So preferably not having too much of stimulants before going to sleep. Distraction is obviously the screen that we all are hooked on to. So take time out after you shut off the screen, just few minutes with yourself, just before going to sleep. I already told you, cancel all the unwanted thoughts, feelings, energies of the day. Reflect and review your day. How was your day? What were the things that affected you, impacted you? Maybe make a note of it to work on yourself or take somebody's help. Use that time to reinforce positivity and gratitude in your life. Why do I say that? Because just before going to sleep, that few minutes that you are is actually a hypnotic state. And it's a very, very, very vulnerable state where you are easily programmed. So which is where more so for kids, they take everything inside. And hence, it would be good to have this small little ritual to follow. There's no harm. Once you start for a few days, after that, it becomes a routine, just as any other routine. And maybe if I have to add here, immediately on waking up, you can take few minutes to maybe connect to your own self and clear off your day. So start with a smile. Thank you. And that's how you keep your mind clear. Take care of what you put and allow in your subconscious mind, because what you put in comes out. Garbage in, garbage out. And we are lucky to have dreams because dreams are our indicators. Maintain a dream journal. Somebody who has a lot of dreams, it would be nice to maintain it, because these are some things that you can discuss with your therapist. Journaling your thoughts, feelings, beliefs that you carry. Again, it will give a lot of information about your subconscious mind. You may put your challenging situations on a piece of paper. A lot of people are struggling during the day to get some answer. So if you have to do it on your own, after all that ritual that I told you, the last thing that you will do is write it down very clearly. No, don't be wishy-washy, write it down and keep it beside you as you suggest your mind. Just tell your mind, I wish I can get some answers here. It's like talking to your own mind is like a self-hypnosis. Just before going to sleep, bring in clarity and solution for the situation through dreams. And a lot of people have got their answers. I don't know if you're aware of the guy who really invented, the scientist who invented the benzene ring. The science students would be aware of the benzene, the carbon molecule. And it is the molecule which has a complex structure of the carbon, which is cyclical chain. And nobody till then ever could find out how to really present it. And he got this in the dream, that the hexagonal structure of the benzene ring comes through his dreams and visions. So a lot of scientists and philosophers have got their answers through their dreams. So it's a very potential space Self-introspection and self-acceptance is always the key for you to have a good day, a good sleep, and a good life. And yeah, dreams give you a lot of awareness. Okay, so I touched this topic only because Aarti had some questions and I said, let me talk about it when we meet. So Aarti, you have any specific question on this?
No, because yeah, actually, there are certain dreams, which you see those dreams, and maybe you visit certain places and you find very familiarity, that you have seen that place in your dream. So when we were talking, it may also can get connected with a past life. I mean, because not everybody believes in past life. So I don't know, whether it's true, false, or these are different theories. So what is your take on that?
So what you asked me right now about, visiting a place and then recalling, oh, I saw that in dream, is called as a deja vu phenomenon. And just in, few slides back, I spoke about the vision. I spoke about how
Okay.
people have seen things that were going to happen, right? So, and I explained about how it happens because in the sleep state, your mental body, your astral causal body is traveling. Your physical body is very much there, but you have the potential to travel, time travel, right? It's a big name, but then that's where the time travel is what you do many times. And then you feel, oh, I know this person, I've been there. So that's deja vu phenomena. It's not right. It's not connected to past life, but there are people who do get past life experiences and it shows up in the form of dreams, few of them. So we do have clients who come up and there are people who are aware of it. As I told you, people are in different states of awareness. So we don't come to a conclusion that this particular image or an experience is a past life. But especially for people, as I told you, are doing a lot of self-work, for them, if they have been consistent with their self-work, many times they do come across some past life images, which they are aware of or they are not aware of. Sometimes they discuss with the and we can, come to that understanding. So it's a very vast subject, but
Right.
I thought it was your request and I said, okay, let me just add this to it.
Right.
Okay. And the next slide, yeah. It's interesting how the dreams and children are connected very intricately and intimately for the very reason that I told you, that children are most of the time operating from the subconscious space. So I more or less explained that. If anyone wants to have any clarity on any of the slides or any particular question, I welcome that. And you're free to connect to me on my contact number and my email ID and my website, where you may come across what I do. And yeah, so free to have any questions.
Yeah,
that
there is one question. How does one prove that it is a past life experience?
Wow, that's interesting. I was anticipating it and wording it. So there are certain ways. I guess I can't make out who's the person, so I don't know whom to talk to, but I'll talk to Aarti. So there are ways that we have to kind of have a checklist or a criteria for that, and that's what we apply when it comes to identifying it. For which I really have to take you through the whole understanding of that. But if that person who's asked me the question is really intrigued and wanting to know, I can take it at length or maybe in some other session.
Right. Or maybe they can get in touch with you directly over there.
There is a checklist. We don't really come to conclusions on anything.
Right.
So it's a very,
It's very difficult, participants, that because I'm getting so many questions. If you see a snake, if you see God, if you see this, if you see that, what is the relevance? What is a sign? So I think it will all vary as per that individual, right? Am I right, Dr. Amita?
yes, as I told you, the symbols.
There is no thumb rule for that. Okay, if you see God, that means okay. So tomorrow you will get one crore ka lottery or something. So there is nothing like that. I wish we could have got those signal signs.
Just to
So
repeat,
are visions and intuitions synonymous?
kind of. because they come from that very deep state of your being connected to your inner knowing. So in a way, yes.
Yeah. So I think it's really wonderful and it's so mysterious. Our life is really so mysterious. So, I mean, how much deep we can keep on going, it will, I don't think it will be possible for us to find all the answers in this lifetime. But definitely there can be certain answers to your questions, to your problems. We can also provide solutions. So I would request Sridatta to flash our toll-free helpline over here. So Dr. Amita, as I was telling you that we are running this mental health helpline, toll-free helpline with the great support of Capgemini, so that we can make it free of cost to every person who is going through, their challenges in life, especially related to mental health. So it's not only about mental health, it can be about your child's study habits, aggression, depression, trauma, or anxiety, or anything. And because of this COVID, I'm sure every person is going through different challenges. So feel free to contact us on our toll-free helpline. Our helplines are open from morning 9 to at night 9 o'clock, and all days, like from Monday to Sunday, anytime you can make a phone call. Our counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist on board, they will help you. They will take you, if it's required, through telephonic therapy. We have also started with Zoom sessions. So this is absolutely free of cost, because what we believe that every individual should understand the importance of their mental health. And in fact, that's where we started with this, our Ask the Expert series post lockdown. In fact, last time also I was saying that, we wanted to just do that for a month or two, but still, I mean, even lockdown is not completely unlocked, and we are living in the fear of virus. We are living in the fear of losing jobs. There are so many challenges. So, and then people have started asking me, what is your next topic? So that's how we are continuing, and we are so lucky and fortunate to have really well-known experts from that particular field. And every Thursday at between 6 or 6:30, we have this 1 hour session where we are inviting our experts from that field, and also discussing, it's a very candid discussion what we are having on different topics related to mental health, and especially stress, or that can actually help us to live our life in more awareness, more meaningful, and we can also help others in whichever way possible. So thank you so much, Doctor. I think there are many questions from our participants.
I have a
Yeah.
suggestion.
There is one question which even I had asked, and many of them, and they are also sending me on my mobile phone, on my WhatsApp, that what is this batch flower therapy?
So the batch flower therapy is basically therapy using flower essences. So this is something, it's like an offshoot of homeopathy, and it has been of great help for me when I'm working with a lot of people who come with a mentally disturbed state, and very mentally, I mean, too much of intensity of emotions. Sometimes we kind of want to calm them before we do some more work. So that's the time I use this, because it restores their emotional well-being and brings them some kind of, I would say, clarity, calmness, and then they can deal with it. And many a times I have seen them getting free by just the prescription of it. So I have written a lot of information on it on my website, or I can send it to you again, Aarti, if you want to just send it to people. I am open to answering all the questions, because I know I have been seeing a lot of chats coming up, and my attention was going up and down. So what I have a suggestion, and it's open to you whether you want to do it. You can send the chats to me. I will take time.
No, in
out.
fact, they can also get connected with you on Facebook. You're there on Facebook, right? Because social media is very powerful today. So let's use social media in a very productive way, so that we can help, people to come out of their problems, their challenges, and they can lead a very happy, normal life without stress. So don't stop dreaming. We have just got to know that dreams are important part of our life, whether you are, like you are seeing these dreams when you are sleeping or you are awake. So keep dreaming. And thank you so much, Dr. Amita. And it was really, really very informative session. So thank you so much.
Nice connecting to you, and it was really fun. for me too, to have so many things taken together.
Yeah, so still people are writing so many messages. So thank you for such a knowledgeable session. Everybody has truly enjoyed it. So thank you so much, Dr. Amita.
Welcome. Thank you, Aarti. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being so patient. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can connect with her on Facebook anytime, or otherwise you can call us on our toll-free number, though we will not be able to answer your questions related to